Why does your brain talk to you in a voice only you can hear? By about age 7, most of that voice has gone silent outside your skull, but it did not disappear. The disturbing part is that it may be built from the same machinery that moves your tongue. It predicts your own words before you say them. And sometimes, when that prediction breaks, a voice can stop feeling like yours. Remember age 7, it comes back. Right now, you are probably hearing these words in your head, not through your ears, not from the speaker. Somewhere behind your face, a silent you is reading along, which is already strange, because nothing is vibrating, no air is moving, your mouth is closed. So why does it feel like a voice? The easy answer is that the voice is just your thoughts. You think something, and your brain turns it into words. Simple, clean, comforting. Here's the problem with that. You can think without words. You can picture your bedroom without narrating it. You can recognize a face before you name it. You can feel dread before your inner voice says, "Oh no." Your brain is doing work before the narrator arrives. So the voice is not all thought. It is one kind of thought. And it may be less like a wise narrator. It may be more like a flashlight. Wait, that changes the question. If the voice is not thought itself, what is it for? Why would your brain waste energy talking to itself? To answer that, you have to go back to when you were tiny, before the voice was private, before it moved inside. When you were little, you did not just think through problems. You spoke them into the room. You said things like, "Put block here." "No, not that one." "Careful." You narrated your own hands. This is called private speech. Psychologists like Lev Vygotsky argued that it is not random babbling. It is thinking with the volume turned up. If you watch a small child solve a puzzle, the room becomes their brain. Their instructions leak out into the air. Then, as they grow, something eerie happens. The words get quieter. The lips move less. The full sentences shrink. By around age 7, much of that talking has crawled inward. There is the first payoff. The voice in your head may be your childhood self finally whispering. But that still sounds too cute. Because your inner voice is not just a memory of talking. It uses your body, even when you say nothing. For more than a century, researchers have measured tiny muscle activity during silent reading and inner speech. Your lips may stay still, but your speech system can twitch under the surface. Your tongue, throat, and larynx may prepare ghost movements. It is like your brain starts the engine, then never lets the car move. That is why some scientists call it subvocalization. Sub means under, vocal means voice, a voice underneath the voice. Try this. Silently say the word tomorrow. Now silently say it slower. Now give it a sarcastic tone. You did not make sound, but something changed. Your brain shaped a fake performance. It chose rhythm. It chose stress. It may even choose an accent. How does silence have an accent? Because your inner voice is not sitting in one magical spot. It is a loop. Parts of your frontal brain help plan speech. Regions such as Broca's area are involved in producing language. Motor areas help prepare movements. Auditory areas help predict what those movements would sound like. So the voice is not a little person inside you. It is a rehearsal. Think of a pianist moving their fingers above silent keys. No music reaches the room, but the pianist can still hear the song in their mind. Your inner voice is similar. Your brain plays the speech plan without pressing the air. But wait, if it is just motor rehearsal, why does it feel like hearing? Why does it have a tone at all? This is where the story gets weirder. Every time you speak out loud, your brain has a problem. It needs to know which sounds came from you. If it treated your own voice like a surprise, speaking would feel chaotic. So your brain makes a prediction. Before the word leaves your mouth, it sends a copy of the command to sensory areas. This copy is often called an efference copy, or corollary discharge. Basically, your brain says, "Incoming sound, but do not panic." That one is ours. This is one reason you cannot tickle yourself very well. Your brain predicts the touch. The surprise gets canceled. Your own action feels less intense. Speech has a version of that trick. Your brain predicts the sound of your own words. Then it tags them as self-made. Now remove the outside sound. Remove the moving air. Remove the actual voice. What is left? A speech command, plus a predicted sound, tagged as yours. That may be the core of inner speech, a voice made from a prediction. And that explains something you do every day. You can hear your own voice while reading. But you can also imagine someone else's voice: a parent, a teacher, a celebrity, a cartoon villain. Your brain is not playing a recording. It is using learned models. It knows the shape of their speech well enough to fake it, like autocomplete for a human mouth. So here's the full answer. Your brain has a voice inside it because language began as something you heard from others, then used out loud on yourself, then compressed into a silent control system. It is built from speech planning, body simulation, and sound prediction. It helps you hold information, guide behavior, rehearse conversations, and turn messy feelings into portable words. The voice is not your soul talking. It is your brain pretending to speak, so you can steer yourself. But here's the part nobody talks about. Not everyone has the same voice. Some people report a near constant inner monologue. Some people barely have one. Some think mostly in images, body feelings, or wordless knowing. In experience sampling studies, psychologist Russell Hurlburt found huge variation in inner speech from person to person. For some, it appears often. For others, it is rare. If your head is quiet, you are not broken. If your head is loud, you are not special. You just have a different dashboard. And the dashboard can lie. Your inner voice feels like the captain, but often it is the press secretary. It explains decisions after deeper systems already moved. You reach for your phone, then the voice says, "I was just checking one thing." You avoid a message, then the voice says, "I am being strategic." The narrator is very good at making your impulses sound reasonable. Wait, it gets darker, because the difference between your voice and a voice can depend on that self-tagging system. In conditions like schizophrenia, some auditory verbal hallucinations may involve problems with monitoring internally generated speech. Scientists still debate the full picture. Brains are not that simple, but one leading idea is chilling. A thought may be produced inside you, then arrive without the label that says mine. Imagine writing a note to yourself, then waking up with no memory of writing it. The handwriting is yours, the words are yours, but it feels like a stranger left it on your pillow. That may be close to the terror of a voice that feels external, not because the person is weak, but because the brain system that marks ownership has misfired. Now remember the throat twitches. Remember age 7. Remember the prediction. Your inner voice is not a ghost in the skull. It is a social tool, buried so deep it feels like you. First, other voices told you what the world meant. Then you used your own voice to control your hands. Then your brain folded that voice inward. Now it comments on your life from the dark. That is why the voice can comfort you. It can also trap you. A repeated sentence becomes a mental room. You can pace inside it for hours. I am not enough. They hate me. One more thing. Your brain can turn language into a cage, because language was built to control behavior, including yours. But the same tool can cut the bars. You can name a fear and make it smaller. You can rehearse courage before your body feels it. You can tell yourself, stand up, and sometimes you do. The voice is not you, but it is one of the ways you reach yourself. So the next time you hear that silent narrator, do not imagine a tiny person at a microphone. Imagine a child whispering instructions. Imagine a tongue that almost moves. Imagine your brain predicting a sound that never enters the room. Your inner voice is the echo of speech that learned to hide. And that connects to something even stranger. Why can your own mind show you dreams you never chose? If this scratched the right part of your brain, subscribe to Mind Itch. A new question every single day.